Alright, to start off this DIY, I grabbed 2 bottles of these seashells that I got from Dollar Tree. I also got 1 package of the hula skirt, and I have these wooden beads on hand, but you can get them from Michael's or Amazon. Obviously you're going to need hot glue, and you will need some twine, but I end up using the twine that is already inside this hula skirt package. So the first thing you're going to want to do is divide this in half if you're wanting to make 2 necklaces. So I took a lot of it and slid it over to one side, and I bunched it up pretty tight, but that's not really necessary. You can always just cut this string in half, and then you have 2 pieces to make 2 necklaces, or you can just make 1, whatever you want to do. Anyways, I ended up taking a lot of this raffia off of the twine, and it's very simple. All you have to do is slide the raffia right off of the string, and then you can pull it and it will undo the loop. So here I'm just showing you I have 2 necklaces, and for both of the necklaces I made, I wanted a layered look, so I just went ahead and put some of the raffia on the string down below the first one, as you can see here, just to create this like crescent moon shape in the middle. Once I had that positioned where I wanted it, I went ahead and tied a knot from the one twine to the other twine. And I left about 6 or 7 pieces of raffia on the other side of the knot, like on the outside, if that makes sense. So that way it would push down the top layer of the raffia. You can see what I'm doing here. So this is the part where I notice it's just way too long. Now you could just go ahead and use scissors and cut it, but this is where I went ahead and took off all the raffia and I trimmed it to size so that I was able to make 2 necklaces out of 1 package of hula skirt. So this is what it's looking like right now. That's with the top layer I had went ahead and took off and shortened it. Now I'm actually taking off the back layer and I'm going to shorten it as well. That way I can get as much raffia out of this piece as possible so I'm able to make that second necklace. Now I went ahead and did it off camera. I'm going to be using these seashells, and I just glued them onto a piece of twine. Then I tied a knot around the first layer of the raffia. And see, they're staying, so you could actually wear this as a necklace if you wanted to. Wear this in public. So I got that piece on. So we got 1, 2, 3 of these dips. I wanted to create like these crescent moon shapes with the way I glued it together. So I just tied those on to this first strand, or this middle one I guess now, the one that was in front here. So it's tied on both sides. Here's like the excess twine. I either plan on cutting it right here, or I think I might pull this up like this and tie it off up here, just so create some more shapes and stuff within the piece. Now this is just going to be a wall art piece, but you very well could wear this as a necklace if you wanted to, since that's kind of what it is, African necklace. So anyways, so I did cut this first layer like I showed you guys earlier. We cut that to the size I wanted, so you can see like it cuts off right here, and then we have all this extra long piece from the back side, the back piece here, super long. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that and trim it how I want it. I'm just making sure that it is hanging straight, and then I'm actually gonna cut it in a pattern going like this. So here is my centerpiece right here, and I'd recommend probably starting here in the middle. I'm gonna like leave it longer. I can always cut more off if needed. It's just like cutting hair. Alright, and we'll do this side. Alright, you guys can't exactly see it. I'm going to back out here. Alright, so I had cut it in like a V shape. I started in the middle here and worked my way this way, and I met the point of where this touched it so that everything just kind of flows. So here is what the necklace looks like so far. I'm almost done with it, so at this point I'm just gonna dye this raffia, and how I'm gonna do it is take some watered down black paint and I'm just gonna like soak this into it and see if that works. So I'm gonna do that now. Once I'm all done, I'm gonna add a few wooden beads on this part up here and my necklace will be finished. Okay, so I'm just using like some gray paint and I'm filling this up with water. And then some black paint from Dollar Tree. That's pretty much what we're doing here. I'm gonna mix it all around. Then I'm gonna take my piece and just soak it in there. And this should dye the raffia. Dunk the whole thing in there. I want it like a dingy color. Alright, I let it drain and we're left with this. So I'm just gonna let this hang up to dry, let it drip out like this. And if you have like leftover areas where like the paint stuck to your sink, you can always just take some hand soap and a little brush like this and actually just go like this and it will get rid of. So if you're worried about staining your sink, it won't stain because it's acrylic paint. It'll come right out. So I did want to point out like some of the beads in here that I'm using. They might kind of contrast with what I'm doing here. So I think that I am going to take some sandpaper and rough these up a little bit. And then I'm going to lightly stain them just so they're like a grayish tint. Nothing too crazy, just not so raw like this color here. We want them just a little dingy so this thing looks like it's been used and worn a lot. Couldn't find any sandpaper, so I'm actually just going to use a nail filer and I'm just going to kind of rough these up in very quickly. Do this. So I could even just take the bead and rub it like this. Okay, so I just quickly got everything sanded down. Now I'm going to quickly stain them with watered down black paint. And the easiest way to do that is to get a bowl of water and just soak your beads so they're nice and wet. And then we're going to mix in the black paint. Okay, so now the beads are out of that bowl and now they're sitting to dry. And my necklaces are complete. I absolutely loved this African vintage boho necklace, whatever you want to call it. It's beautiful as wall art.